Hello, good afternoon. You're watching Market Fatafat on ET now. I'm Vinny Motiwala along with me Shrishti Sharma. Shrishti, a very good afternoon to you as well. But market's quite subdued, right? Today we saw a slight bit of a green that came in on the Nifty. But after that, the fall came in and 22,400 was broken by the Nifty. Again, it came back. Now trading, managing to hold on to those 22,400 levels at least. So yes, Nifty as of now is still down 0.2% in trade. X2 is trading with declines of almost 200 points, 73,800 is what it's trading at. Was managing to hold on to 74,000 at the beginning of the day, but then after that 73,800 around this level is what the Sensex is holding on to. What's doing well? Nifty Bank managing to hold on to green, and the broader markets, that's the one which is doing well in trade. Look at the Nifty mid cap as well as the Nifty small cap, clear outperformance coming in from both of these. Nifty mid cap, like you can see on the screens as well, as of now trading at the day's highest point. Similarly for the Nifty small cap, also trading at the day's highest point, both of them trading with gains of almost a percent in trade. Let's pull up Nifty Realty. That's the top sectoral gainer in trade, doing quite well. Second consecutive day of very strong gains. And Nifty Realty, all these realty stocks have seen a lot of buzz in the recent times. Other than that, Nifty Media and PSU banks are the sectors that are trading in the green, while other sectors like IT and pharma not managing to hold on to the green, seeing a bit of a slip. Nifty IT is down almost 0.6% in trade, and Nifty Pharma down 0.2% in trade. A lot of movers that are there in trade today, a lot of news flows that have come in as well, and that's what we'll be talking about as well, Shrishti, right?
Well,
the next
yes,
1 hour.
The next 1 hour will be busy discussing all of these stocks that are in focus, and our team of researchers will also be joining us onto the show today. We are being joined by two of our researchers, that is Snehi as well as Ankita, and Osho Krishan is also joining us on the technical front. So very good afternoon to all three of you. And Winnie, let's shift focus to the first sector that is in focus, and real estate. What a move.
Absolutely, what a move. Yesterday that's what I was saying, what a move. That move is not stopping, We did see a bit of a subduedness in between, but again it's back on that move. So let's pull up today charts of Godrej Properties, DLF, Prestige, Macrotech. All these are in focus. Why? Now we have a new note that has actually come in from Morgan Stanley, where Godrej Properties, they're saying they've upgraded the stock to an overweight rating, hiked the target price to 2,500 rupees per share from a previous 2,050 rupees per share. That's for Godrej Properties. Macrotech, they've hiked the target price to 1,050 from previous target price of 960. While in terms of Prestige Estate, they've target price to 1,400 from a previous target price of 1,300 and maintaining an overweight rating. What they're saying is that, mainly they've raised the target price on the basis of a pre-sale that they're seeing in terms of the numbers that have come in from the pre-sales for these companies as well. So that's what they're keeping an eye out on. They said that they remain disciplined in the valuation amid the near-term slowdown in pre-sales due to the upcoming elections. That's something they're watching out for. So yes, for that, DLF is something they downgraded, though they've hiked the target price to 900 from a previous 770. But they've downgraded the stock to an equal weight from an overweight rating. In terms of the relative outperformance, they said was driven by these pre-sales momentum. Now in 2025, FY25, what they're expecting is that the guidance for the growth maybe could be around 10 to 20% is what Morgan Stanley is highlighting, versus something that we saw in FY24 of around 30 to 40%. So yes, they believe that Prestige Estate and Godrej Properties is something that could go faster in terms of the growth, and pre-sale momentum is something they're watching out for, though they're expecting a bit of a slowdown in that. So yes, the top bets are Macrotech and Oberoi are ranked better on that terms, and that is what they're keeping an eye out on, Shrishti.
All right, moving on then, and let's focus to what CAMS is doing. This counter is also in focus on the back of a big positive coming in from the company, where they have said that CAMS to be an agency for issuing insurance policies in electronic form, and this has been mandated by RIDAI, that's the insurance regulator. Now, CAMS Insurance Repository Services Limited, that's one of the wholly owned subsidiaries of the company, is an IRDAI registered insurance repository and is facilitating the issuance of the policies in electronic mode. And this subsidiary was incorporated back in 2011, is presently the second largest repository in the country with 60 lakh e-insurance accounts and 72 lakhs electronic policies maintained in their repositories, and it is also engaged with 45 plus insurers, both life as well as non-insurance, for their electronic policy issuance. Now, this is also in the process of establishing the Bima Central platform as an industry solution to facilitate the policyholder transaction from a single platform. So that's a positive coming in from CAMS, and we are seeing the stock holding on to the gains of more than 4.5%.
Okay, surely keeping an eye out on CAMS, look at the run-up we saw once that announcement was made. But also let's talk about AU Small Finance Bank and, before we reach the fundamentals, actually let's take a check on the technical front, right? And Osho, that's the first stock I picked out for us. AU Small Finance Bank, when you look at it in the last 6 months, clearly there's been a bit of an underperformance. Only in the last 1 month, slight bit of an uptick that one could say, some bit of a green that is coming in. What's the view on AU Small Finance Bank on the charts?
Very good afternoon, everyone. We're talking about the technical perspective of AU Finance Bank. Then we have seen a very massive dive from the zone of 800 towards the zone of 550. But the 550 zone is expected to provide a very strong support zone, because even on the multi-week or multi-month time frame, there has been strong historical support that can be seen around the same zone, 550, 560 odd levels. And from the last 2 sessions, there has been some kind of a reversal kind of signal that can be seen from this counter. And also on the technical parameters, the counter was already into a oversold territory. And with the recent development, I am expecting that from here onwards, there can be a strong relief on the higher end. That means a pullback is expected. On the higher end, I am expecting a target of nearly 640 as the first target, followed by 675 from short-term perspective. While on the downside, I am having a very strong support zone near around 560, 550 odd levels.
Right, expecting a very strong move on AU Small Finance Bank. But Snehi, tell us more on the fundamental front. What's the news flow coming in on AU Small Finance Bank?
Shrishti, lots of news flow coming in when it comes to AU Small Finance Bank. The company has announced the merger of Fincare Small Finance Bank with itself. The development comes after the RBI had granted the approval for this merger on the 4th of March. Now, with this, all branches of Fincare Small Finance Bank will function as branches of AU Small Finance Bank. The AU Small Finance Bank Fincare unit, that will also become the bank's 6th business group. The board also approved the allotment of 579 shares of AU Small Finance Bank for every 2,000 shares of Fincare Small Finance Bank. Now, the firm's paid-up equity share capital will now increase to 742 crore from the previous 669 crore. This is what the exchange filing has said. And following the merger, management rejigs have also taken place with Rajiv Yadav, who was the former managing director and chief executive officer of Fincare Small Finance Bank. He has been redesignated as the deputy CEO of AU Small Finance Bank. So, while on the back of this merger coming into fruition today, the stock was up 1% and continues to be up 1% as we speak.
That's all about AU Small Finance Bank. But Ankita, let's talk about Tata Tech, right? Today, this one has seen a sharp run-up as well. What's the reason behind this up move that we're seeing for Tata Tech?
Tata Tech is seeing a sharp up move. In fact, the stock is up 5% in trade today because Tata Technologies and BMW Holdings Netherlands have announced a joint venture which the luxury automaker says will aid in engineering premium products, delivering great digital experiences for its customers and propelling its digital transformation journey. Now, the JV aims to establish an automotive software and IT development hub in Pune, Bangalore and Chennai. The main development and operation activities shall be established in Bengaluru and Pune, and in Chennai the focus shall be on the business IT solutions. And on the back of this news flow and the back of a JV forming there, Tata Tech is up in about 5% in trade.
All right then, moving on, and let's talk about RBL Bank then. And Osho, this counter is on your radar. The stock has been in the up move and showcasing the upsurge in the past 3 to 4 days. But what are the next levels you are looking at?
Trading session, there has been some kind of positive development that can be seen in RBL Bank. Firstly, it has emerged above the 200-day SMA. Secondly, there has been a positive crossover among the technical parameters. So on the daily time frame, I am expecting that from here onwards, there can be a decent upsurge that can be seen in the coming period. 265, 270 holds to be the very strong resistance zone, and once we breach the zone of 265, 270 odd levels, then from there onwards, the upward rally can continue towards 290, 300 in the coming period. But for short-term traders, it is always advisable to keep a strict stop loss of 235 because that's the support of 200-day SMA, and if it breaches below the 235 zone, then again it will be re-entering into making lower lows, lower highs pattern.
Okay, surely keeping an eye out on RBL Bank over there. Let's move on and talk about AB Capital. Why is this one in focus? And look at the run-up that we've seen for this stock. It's seen an up move of almost 9 to 10%. trade. As of now, also holding on to gains of almost 9% as well. This is mainly coming in because we have a brokerage note that came in this morning. From Macquarie, they're initiating coverage, outperform rating, target price of 230 rupees per share. They're saying that the company is poised to show a very strong growth in earnings and loans as well. The growth is to be led mainly by the lending and saving business, as well as the strong percentage, as well as the AAA rating, providing access to competitive funding, and in terms of the diverse product suite that is there and distribution mix, avoiding the concentration risk. They also believe that the SME segment is something that could see strong growth of more than 30% AUM CAGR over the next 3 years, and value unlocking in NBFCs and insurance business is something that could work out well for AB Capital. They also believe that there's a potential for the company to double in 3 years, and though it's not widely covered, they're initiating coverage on this one. Look at the upmove Shrishti. There's no doubt about AB Capital seeing a run up, and AB Group stocks, I think today is the theme of the day, right?
Well, yes, absolutely. You were talking about AB Capital. Look at the move in AB Fashions, Vinny, as well as TCNS Clothing. All these counters are seeing no stopping. So, Snehi, take us through what's happening with AB Fashion and why the run up today.
I think the Aditya Birla group of stocks are you can call that entire basket the stock of the day, because look at the move in ABFRL as well, right? 12% uptick even right now. At one point in the day, it went as high as 15%. So let's understand why this is happening. Now, the company has gone ahead and announced plans to demerge Madura Fashion and Lifestyle into a separate listed entity. All shareholders of Aditya Birla Fashion will have identical shareholding in the newly formed entity, which makes the demerger ratio 1:1. The demerger is being done for 3 reasons. It's to unlock value, to boost stagnant valuations, and create a simplified and streamlined structure for both of these companies as well. Now, post the demerger, Aditya Birla Fashion will be raising capital within 12 months to infuse strength into its balance sheet. However, what is unclear for us and for the street is how the debt will be divided between these two companies post the demerger, because post the fundraise from GIC, debt is expected to be anywhere around 2,800 to 3,000 odd crore rupees. So the street will be watching out for how both of these companies divide the debt book that they have, or the debt burden that they have on their books between these two companies post the demerger. But yes, on the back of this news flow that they are going to go ahead and demerge Madura Fashions into a separate listed entity, the street has taken this news flow very positively, and the stock is up 12% as we speak.
Okay, absolutely. That news flow is surely taken very positively. Value unlocking is what one could watch out for as well over there. Let's move on, talk about Adani Power then. Osho, on the charts, what's the view coming in for Adani Power? What is it that one should watch out for? Last 3 months, around a 7% return, but last couple of days, we're seeing a very sharp run up, right? Coming in, the slow and steady move has come in for Adani Power. On the charts, technicals, what's the level that we should keep an eye out on?
Adani Power, there has been a very strong runaway gap that was seen in the last couple of trading sessions, and currently it is hovering near its lifetime high zone. So that's a very positive development on the technical perspective for Adani Power. And if it sustains around the zone of 580, 585 and have a closure around the same levels, then I am expecting a strong follow-up buying in this counter. First target will be 600 being a psychological mark, but once it surpasses the zone of 600, then from there onwards we can expect another set of rally in this counter for upward targets of nearly 640 to 650 on immediate basis. While on the downside, a strong support is placed around 560, 550 odd levels. So even if in future, if there is a dip towards 560, one should definitely accumulate this counter for immediate target of 600 followed by 640.
Look out for opportunities to accumulate Adani Power. We're moving on then, and Ankita, what's your take coming in on Bharat Dynamics? Tell us what's the news flow on Bharat Dynamics.
Well, yes, Shrishti, in fact, Bharat Dynamics is seeing a bit of a pressure since morning. The stock is knocked out to 2.5% in trade right now. Slight bit of recovery coming in, but a sharp knock early in the morning because we have a couple of business updates coming in for the company, and they've recorded a turnover of 2,350 crore rupees for FY24 versus 2,489 crore rupees in FY23. Now, the reduction was mainly on account of the current political situation that's prevailing in Europe and the Middle East, which had an impact on the company's supply chain. Now, the company's order book is up until 1st of April 2024 has been around 19,468 crore rupees. So that's the number coming on the order book. But Remember earlier, Bharat Dynamics had also announced an interim dividend of 8.85 rupees per equity share, for which the record date is today, which is the 2nd of April, to be paid to eligible shareholders on or before 18th of April. So that's the news flow coming in on the back of business updates. Bharat Dynamics is knocked on in trade at 2.5%.
Okay, that's Bharat Dynamics for y'all. Let's move on and talk about UFlex. And saying, what's the news flow around UFlex today? Why is it in focus?
Well, yes, so the company has informed the exchanges that its step-down subsidiary Flex Films Russia LLC, which is in Russia, has commissioned the cast polypropylene, which is CCP film production line with its installed capacity of 18,000 metric tons per year. So also a few days ago, remember on 31st of March, the company had achieved the commencement of commercial production of manufacturing facility at Panipat in Haryana with an installed capacity of 1.68 lakh MTPA. So on the back of this capacity expansion and the frequency of these announcements that have come in, the two announcements of capacity expansion have come in back to back, the street has taken to it very well and the stock is also up 8% as we speak.
Right, that's about UFlex. But moving on then, and also talk to us about Oro Pharma. This has been one of the key outperformers in the pharma space. But what are the next? What's your take coming in on Oro in the pharma right now?
See, overall in the last trading week, there has been a very strong surge that was witnessed in this counter from the zone of approximately 1,000. It has surged towards 1,100 odd levels. On the weekly time frame, it has given a very strong closure last week, and it has made a double bottom kind of a pattern on weekly time frame. And in the current week, we have seen a very strong runaway gap. So I'm expecting that there will be a follow-up movement that can be seen. There is some kind of consolidation that is happening in this counter, but the zone of 1100 and 1090 should be acting as a very strong accumulation zone, and one should definitely try to accumulate this counter. On the lower end, 1070, 1060 should be acting as the support zone where a trader can keep their stop losses. On the higher end, the first target that I'm expecting is 1160, and once it breaches the zone of 1160, then it will be marching towards the zone of 1200 in short-term period.
Okay, surely keeping an eye out on those levels over there for Aurobindo Pharma. But on that note, let's just slip into a very short break, viewers. Don't go anywhere, because after the break, we'll be discussing more stocks as well. Welcome back. You're watching ET Now and you're tuned into Market Fatafat. Let's keep it going with all the stocks that have been buzzing in trade today. And let's talk about the defense pack. We did cover Bharat Dynamics on the back of its Q4 update. But we have these other defense stocks that have been buzzing in trade as well. Bharat Electronics too on the back of this Q4 updates is also buzzing. But there's a brokerage note that has come in on defense as well. And when you look at it, Jefferies has come out with a note where they're saying that they're maintaining a buy. They've hiked the target price of 260 rupees per share from previous 225 rupees per share. For HAL, they're maintaining a buy with a target price of 3,900 rupees per share. Patterns is another stock one should keep an eye out on, because that's making the Jefferies list, where they've maintained the target price at 3,545 rupees. What they're saying overall is for the defense pack is they believe that around 100 to 120 billion dollar domestic defense opportunity that comes in for this defense players in the next 5 to 6 years. That is around a 13% industry CAGR growth that one could watch out for in FY23 to FY30 is what is the CAGR growth that one could expect. Export defense opportunity also rises at 21% CAGR growth over the next 7 years, around 5 years as well. And the data patterns, in-house technology and the 30+% EPS CAGR is a big upside driver for the company. Other than that, in terms of when you look at it, what is happening in terms of HAL, blended steady service income and manufacturing OEM growth is something that will work out well. Steady play on the overall defense spends as well. Coming in from BEL is something, a key factor to watch out for. And other than that, when you're looking at it, like I mentioned, BEL did come out its Q4 update as well. Record turnover for FY24, strong order books that are there for BEL, and that is why BEL actually is up almost 5% as well at one point of time. That upper circuit level is close to that as well, and that's what is interesting coming in the defense back today, Shrishti.
All right. Both the counters holding on to the gain since morning, but Osho, let's talk about Dr. Reddy's, the stock which is absolutely doing nothing since the start of the day, but has been doing pretty well in the past 1 month. So what is the take coming in on Dr. Reddy's, and what are your targets on this one?
See, overall, after the very strong vertical rally from the zone of nearly 5600 towards the zone of 6500, the counter has entered into a consolidation or time-wise corrective phase. But on the positive front, we can witness that on the daily time frame, it has emerged near the sloping trendline breakout. So I'm expecting the time it crosses the zone of 6300 in the short-term period, there can be a strong boost that can be seen in Dr. Reddy. So the time it breaches 6300, the next or very immediate target that one can expect will be of 6500 on immediate basis. And the time it surpasses that levels, I am very much optimistic in the counter, and it has a potential to even move into uncharted territory. So overall, this is a very strong point. It is setting up a strong base for itself before the next leg of rally. And for those who can invest for a short to medium term time frame, it is a very good time to accumulate this counter.
Okay, very good time to accumulate the counter. That's Dr. Reddy's, that's the word coming in from Osho. Let's move on. HG Infra 2 in focus, and I believe this is on the back of an order win.
Not one but two order wins coming in for HG Infra, and look at the stock move. That stock is up 9.5% as we speak. It also scaled to an all-time high level of 1098 rupees per share today. As of now, also trading very close to those levels. Now let's understand why this is happening, because the company's consortium with Stockwell Solar Services Private Limited has bagged two letters of award worth 156 crore rupees issued by the Jodhpur Vidyut Vitrat Nigam Limited for the project of solar power panels. The total solar plant capacity across both these projects comes to 36.6 megawatts, and the project includes design, survey, supply, installation, testing, commissioning and the operation and maintenance for 25 years of these grid-connected solar power plants. The scope of work of HG Infra Engineering along with Stockwell Solar Services Private Limited will be engineering, procurement and construction, which is overall an EPC service that two companies will be providing, and commissioning of the solar power plants. Now both these projects are to be executed within the next 12 months. Yes, on the back of these order wins for two solar power plants, the stock is doing pretty well, up 9.5% as we speak.
Alright, that's about HG Infra, but let's shift focus to the IT counter. That is Birlasoft, and Osho, talk to us about this particular stock. The IT counters hasn't been doing well in the recent past, but if we see the 3 months, then Birlasoft was just up by 12%. What's your take coming in on this counter?
See, overall, this counter has entered into a corrective phase from the zone of 850 and has consolidated near the 100-day exponential moving average on the daily time frame, which was near about 720 odd levels. But in the last 1 week, there has been some positive development on technical parameters. On the oscillator front, there has been positive crossover that has been seen in this counter. And even in the last 2 or 3 trading sessions, the counter have also tried to have a reversal kind of a pattern. So currently it is hovering in the zone of 750 to 770. The time it breaches the zone of 770 on a closing basis, I am expecting that it will have a gradual up move. Immediately 810, 815 should be acting as the first resistance or can be seen as a target, followed by 840, 850 odd levels. So overall, there can be a gradual upshift in this counter in the coming week.
Okay, that's the word coming in on Birlasoft. Keep an eye out on those levels. But let's move on. And Ankita, South Indian Bank came out with its Q4 update. How was it looking like?
Yes, in fact, after the stock reported its Q4 update, the stock practically nosedived 7%. In fact, it's still reeling under pressure. It's down 4% in trade right now. If you look at the updates part, the bank said that its provisional gross advances rose 3.4% to 80,000 crore rupees in Q4 of FY24 from 77,686 crore rupees in the quarter. Now, advances also rose 11% from 72,000 crores in Q4 of last fiscal. Now, the CASA was also up, saw an uptick of 8% on a year-on-year basis. The CASA ratio, which is an important indicator of the bank's liquidity position, also improved slightly to 32% from 31.8% on a sequential basis. And now that's the word coming in from South Indian Bank, but we do see profit booking coming in despite these numbers. We do see profit booking coming in on South Indian Bank as of today.
Alright, that's about South Indian Bank, but Osho, let's talk about Concor. Quite a smart recovery from those low levels of 840 odd rupees. But the stock is once again trying to make a comeback and inched above that 900 mark as well. What's your next target coming in for Concor?
Overall, as you have mentioned, the counter have seen a very strong reversal from the zone of nearly 820, 830 levels and is now sustaining above the zone of 900. So in the coming period, if it sustains above the zone of 910 to 915, I'm expecting that it has the potential to test the zone of 960 in the coming period. So there is not very much aggressive target in this counter, but the primary trend is still intact. If I talk about the weekly time frame, the higher highs, higher lows pattern is still intact in the counter. There will be a gradual up move on immediate basis. 960 should be acting as the first resistance or target, followed by 1000 and 1020.
Right, that's about Concor. But moving on, let's shift focus to the auto major Hero MotoCorp, which is seeing a decline of over 2% in today's trading session, and that's on the back of their March auto sales data, where this time the numbers have come in way below to what we were expecting at ET now, so that's a miss. But the big dampener is the growth that the company has registered in comparison to its peers, because companies like Bajaj Auto as well as TVS Motors, they have actually gone ahead and registered a double-digit YOY growth. But when it comes to Hero MotoCorp, that's a decline of 6% yearly, and that's why we are seeing such a sharp reaction on this particular counter. Because on the flip side, the company has actually come out with a positive commentary when it comes to their FY25 outlook. They say that going ahead, they expect the double-digit revenue growth in FY25, and that will be led by 125cc segment with the launch of some of the other motorcycles as well. They're expecting the ramp up in their premium motorcycle portfolio, and the EV market share is also on the cards on the back of the new launches. They also have a strategic plan to commence the operations in Europe and UK in FY25. But apart from these positive commentaries on the FY25 outlook on the back of March auto sales data, the stock is clearly under pressure today.
Absolutely, that's Hero MotoCorp, pressure coming in when you compare it with the peers, and that's why the fall. But let's move on and talk about another mid-cap IT name, Osho, that you've picked out is KPIT Tech. So similar charts that one could expect versus a Birlasoft as well?
Yes, correct. In KPIT also, there has been a strong rebound in the last trading week, and there has been a very strong rebound from the 200-day SMA, which is also coinciding with a positive crossover on the major technical oscillator front. So I'm expecting that from here onwards there will be a gradual up move in the counter, but for the first time there can be some kind of consolidation that can be seen around the zone of 1540, 1550 odd levels. But once it breaches or gives a closer above 1550 odd levels, then from here onwards it has the potential to reach towards the zone of 1650 followed by 1700.
Okay, that is KPIT Tech. Keep an eye out on those levels over there that Osho is mentioning. But on that note, let's just dip into a very short break. We'll be back with more stocks after the break.
If you like this video, then like, share and subscribe to ET Now.